Hi, my name is Kelly Chakarian, and I'm going to be teaching you today about the basics of Demi Colour. Demi Colour is a new line by Saint Beauty that is using color science, which is honestly magic, to address the distractions and the excess color on your face using the color wheel. So kind of fun to go back to art class, kind of mix it with science, and then the end result is just pure, flawless, beautiful skin in its best form with no makeup texture, no creasing, no nothing. It just looks like gorgeous, beautiful skin. So I am a Demi Colour certified artist. I have been trained in how to teach you to apply this makeup and how to address color on your face. And so if you have any questions or if you're learning about Demi Colour and just need to troubleshoot, I would be happy to help you. So excuse me looking into the camera. I'm gonna have to look at the color on my face so that I can better tell you about it. But if you're new to Demi Colour, this is kind of what a Demi Colour palette looks like. Very colorful, doesn't look anything like foundation because it's not. There is honestly nothing on the market like this. It's not like traditional color correcting where you're applying a color over another color on your face in the hopes that you can then cover it with foundation. No, you are using this Demi Colour technique in these colors to address all of the excess color on your face, and you do not need to apply anything else on top of it. No setting powder, no setting spray, anything like that. It is amazing just on its own, and because you're applying so little with the right color in the right place, it wears all day. It is gorgeous. Let's get started. When you are first applying Demi Colour, the first thing that I like to do is to apply added color anywhere that you want that first. And so that means if you would like to sculpt, add some bronzer, adding that first. Go in with your blush next if you want to blush. If you want to add any liner to your lips, anything like that, contouring your nose, add all of those things first, because by doing that, it kind of gives you a better picture of what to address next, and then you can go from there. So I'm going to show you first how to sculpt. So on the bottom, or I guess for you guys the top, these are my sculpts that I personally use. And the cool thing about this is everybody's going to have a different formula per se for their own face based on the coloring that you have. So I just have me right now. So you can tell by looking at my face, I have distractions, I have blemishes, I have melasma, I kind of have a lot going on. But apparently my skin has a natural kind of green undertone to it. And so when you think of the color wheel, always remember red and green Christmas colors are opposites and they will neutralize. Blue and orange, Bronco colors are opposites and they will neutralize. And then yellow and purple, Laker colors, they are opposites and they will neutralize. So you want to think of the opposite color. So if my face is inherently green, kind of muddy, mulchy looking in some areas, a lot of that is kind of the excess scarring and melasma that I have. You want to use the opposite color, red. So I'm going to use neutral red. So neutral on the Demi Colours, it'll be labeled NR. N means that it's adding a neutral color to your face in the form of a sculpt. And then the R means it's red, so neutral red. And I'm going to go right along where I normally put my sculpt, with all in here is rather green, kind of mulchy looking. And I just kind of you can see I'm like barely brushing my face. It's almost like a tint, and that color just sweeps on beautifully. I'm gonna take that color up onto my temple because I'm still rather yellow-green in my hairline. And this is just gonna add some neutral color to my face, warms me up, almost kind of like a bronzer. And if I had different colors in my hairline, then I would use something else, but I don't, so the NR works. And in here, I have a little bit of a yellow spot here, but we'll see if that's still showing up today. And I'm gonna put that neutral red over here. So if you have a lot of blue in your face, NO is a really beautiful sculpt for you. And there we go. So that is my sculpt. The darker your skin tone is, the more blue you're gonna have in your face. And it's actually quite common for fair to medium skin tones to have a lot of green and blue. And then as you get darker, you're gonna have a lot of excess blue in your skin. So those orange sculpts, or even those violet sculpts, if you have kind of a lot of yellow in your skin too, are going to work really well for you. And then on my nose, I'm gonna kind of zoom in for you guys. I just have a lot of freckling, which is green, and I have some slight redness. So honestly, it kind of just depends on the nose sculpt, what end result I'm going for, but I find that the NR works pretty well. And then up in here, I don't have a lot of coloring, so I'll use NV. And I'm just gonna use that NR, and it kind of just gives me some added dimension right there. You can see it is showing up. Kind of cancels out the freckles a little bit, the green of the freckles, and then just adds in some Sculpt. And then I'm going to carry that up where I'm rather yellow with an NV, which means it's neutral violet. Violet is the opposite of yellow. So I'm kind of just connecting that to my brow. And that is it. That is my Sculpt. So that's the first thing that you're going to do. Next, this next row, I have some blush colors that I really like. I tend to go with the VR5. It really just depends on the natural flush that you have in your own cheeks. You can kind of play with a few different cheek flushes, but I kind of work with the natural flush that I already have and just apply it like typical blush, but I'm just always using a much lighter hand with Demi. And the colors I find kind of like almost like sink into your skin, if that makes sense. And so the color will get a little bit more vibrant as you let it sit. So that is sculpting and blushing. You can see now that kind of gives you a better idea of where I want to address the rest of the excess color on my face. And my main concerns are my blemishes and my acne scarring that I want to cover up. And again, I'm only going to address the most distracting things on my face. So the easiest thing to do with Demi is think that your whole face is a distraction or you have bad skin, which is absolutely not true. But there may be parts that you want to address that may be distracting to you, and address the most distracting areas first. And you'll find that once you take away that distraction or minimize it, everything else kind of blends together. Our skin is made up of many colors. It's not meant to look beige or dark or white, whatever. It's not meant to look like one color. It's meant to have a variation of color. That's what healthy, vibrant, glowing, real skin looks like. And so we just want to take away the excess color that kind of takes away from that natural color variation in our skin. So I used the shape brush for my sculpting and for my blush, and then I'm gonna use these two brushes. This is the spot brush. This is an absolute must if you are buying Demi Colour, or you can go to your local art store and find a brush that is, you can even find a finer tip than this one, but a very, very fine tip brush, because Demi, you have to be very precise. And then this is another one that's really great. This is called the Blur brush, and it has a small end as well, and these ends are great for kind of removing the excess color. So I'm gonna first go in with my most distracting blemishes, kind of talk you through how I address color, and then you'll kind of see the magic happen right before your eyes. So I'm gonna go on this side first. I have some, kind of a lot going on here, but I have some dark with some vibrancy, a blemish right here, which if it's dark, that means that there's blue in it. If it's dark with vibrancy, you know that there's some purple in it. So I'm gonna be living kind of in the orange and yellow family, and I'm actually gonna go into this color. It's called Y01, and Y meaning yellow, O meaning orange, but the first letter, when there's two letters in a color, it means ish. So it's a yellowish orange, meaning that there is more orange in this color, because I think that this is rather dark, not as vibrant. So it's kind of, I have to look at another mirror while I'm doing it. So that took away the angry spots on the outside of the blemish, and I'm gonna use straight Y, which is Y1, yellow one, and I'm gonna put that at the center, which is more vibrant. And that is virtually gone. Pretty dang cool, right? So the cool thing about Demi is that you're not spending time applying makeup to your whole face. You're spending your time spot correcting the areas that you want to address, which you'll find is not many. So bear with me. It is a big learning curve, but I promise you, once you figure it out and you spend the time to learn, it will just become like second nature. You're gonna be able to see the color much easier. And once you find the right color for your skin needs, it will go fast each and every time. So this color, there's some vibrancy to it, but it's pretty dark. So I know that that's blue. So I'm gonna go in with Y01 again first. And you can see I have hardly any product on my brush. And I'm just tapping those areas, and you can see I had a pretty large spot right there that is gone. I'm using hardly any product, and when I tap it, I'm just getting excess off. I'm not blending. So you want to stay very precise on the actual spot, not going outside of it. Use Y01 again. That one was as well. That one is the same. Okay. I have one little melasma spot right here that I'm going to tackle. It looks rather green to me, so I'm going to use, but it's also dark, so I'm going to use OR1, meaning it's orange red. Plasma tends to be rather green in color, and so now you can see I still have some areas that are scarred and a little bit discolored in here, but they're not super distracting. If I wanted to be super particular, I could go in and tackle, you know, each and everything that I want to, but I'm really happy with this side of my face now. The most distracting things are gone. Now I have a blemish right here, which is rather dark, some vibrancy, so I'm gonna use Y01 again. You can see that basically went away. I have another dark spot here. I'm just gonna use O1 because there's no vibrancy. It looks like some and that brightened that area right up. I have a little bit of darkness right here, but it kind of looks muddy to me, so I'm going to use a little bit of R1 as just a toning agent right there, just lightly sweeping R1 there. Okay, now I'm going to move on to this side of my face. This one is a very dark blemish, a little bit of vibrancy, but it's mostly dark, so I'm actually going to use O3, which means it's just a more saturated orange. That pretty much took it away. And then I have some kind of green looking melasma scarring in here, and then I have some blemishes that are dark and vibrant, so I'm going to continue to use Y01 to correct those. And you can see that just evened out my jawline, and now you can see there are no blemishes on my face that are very distracting anymore. So now I'm going to move on to a few key dark spots on my chin. It's not super bad right now, but I just want to take out a little bit of the bite on the redness on my chin. So I'll probably be using, it looks dark and vibrant, so Y01 again, and then I'll move on to under eyes. The key with an area that seems just like red or dark altogether is to tackle the darkest parts in that area of redness. Especially this goes for girls with melasma or rosacea. If you have angry blemishes on your skin, your whole face is not a blemish, your whole face is not rosacea. There are darker parts in your skin that need to be addressed. So go find those darker parts first, and then you can go from there. I'm gonna go into my under eye, which this is probably one of the harder parts to learn about Demi, because we're so used to putting just a clean sweep of under eye concealer on our under eyes, which is not the case with Demi. Under eyes are so beautiful. If you look at your children, if you look at children, they have variation of color in their under eye. There's purple, there's blue, there's darkness, there's a bag. It's just natural. And so we don't want to just take away all the color, we want to take away the distracting color. And oftentimes that will be pooling, darker colors will pool in the creases or bags of your under eye, which creates a darker shadow. So if we can kind of trick the eye and eliminate the darker shadowing, we can almost eliminate the look of a bag, which I've never been able to do with any foundation because the colors that are in our under eyes are typically not the colors of foundation. So freckling, I'll kind of get up close with you guys. You can see I have lots of freckles in here, which is where my bag is, and same over here. I also have redness that kind of lines the outside of my bag, and so I'm going to tackle a little bit of that redness. I have redness over here, kind of goes along the bridge of my nose, just kind of from the sun. I'm going to just tone that out with a little bit of Y01, using this color a lot, and I'm just getting a tad on my brush and just toning that area super lightly. You see that redness just virtually disappear. But the cool thing is I'm not taking away my freckles, I'm just toning out some of that redness. And I'm gonna just tone a couple parts on my nose that have some excess red, which, sorry, I say red because that's just what we're kind of used to. But they're actually more bluish purple. So that's why I'm using Y01, because it's a purpley blue tone. Okay, there you go. I'm also gonna put a little bit right at below my bag. Okay, and that tones out that. Okay, so now freckles are usually greenish in color. And so I am going to go in, they're dark and they're green. So that means I'm using, so the first color I'm gonna address is the blue, meaning because we know it's blue because there's some darkness in there. So I'm using orangish red, OR1, to just kind of hit some of those frecks with. Okay, I'm gonna do that on the other side. Have a little less freckling on this side. And then now I'm gonna go into the deepest part of my bag right here with 03 because it's a dark blue. So I'm gonna use this darker orange. And this is where the magic starts to happen. Do you see that bag virtually disappearing as I take that darkness away? Please, right? The easiest thing to do with under eyes is overcorrect. So we do not want to overcorrect. Okay, I feel like that is a pretty bright under eye. I'm gonna go in to this dark area right here with that darker orange. See it starting to go away. And now that bag is virtually gone. And now I just look like I have an even, bright under eye, right? Okay, so I would say that is honestly the basics of Demi. Your sculpt, your blush, and then correcting the distractions on your face, whether that be melasma or blemishes or redness or whatever. Make sure you're asking yourself what color it is and then tackling it with that color. Remember, do not overcorrect. Color variation is in skin is totally normal. And so you want to look like you just have healthy, glowing skin, not distracting skin. So what do you guys think? I still have all that natural luminosity that is just inherent in real skin, not covered in makeup, because skin has layers and layers and layers of epidermis and water, and that water reflects light. And so we do not want to cover up. Like, that's natural illuminator. We don't want to cover up that luminosity that makes us look healthy and vibrant and glowing. So that is Demi Colour for you. Also, you're going to start to notice that the perfect lip color on your lips oftentimes is your natural lip color. So I'm gonna finish by showing you guys a little bit of a lip trick with Demi. I'm gonna line my lips, and I'm using NV+1. And that is just going to enhance my natural lip line. And then I go slightly, just slightly outside. And then kind of blend that out. Crazy, right? That alone just gives my lips so much fullness, and it really makes my natural color stand out. And then all I'm gonna do is apply some gloss to my lips. And there it is. I don't usually like any other lip color than my own when I wear Demi Colour, because once I take the distractions out around my face, my lip color gets to shine. And it's just pretty crazy how much you learn to love your skin, your coloring, your face. And Demi Colour just lets you get all the credit. Your makeup does not get the credit. You can't tell that I'm wearing makeup. Your skin just gets the credit with no distraction. So I hope that was helpful Demi basics for you. I have lots of information on my Instagram profile of Demi Colour highlights, and I will always be coming out with new content for you. So subscribe to my channel if you're on YouTube, or make sure you tune in here on Instagram if that's where you're watching this from. And thank you guys so much for hanging out. Demi Colour Basics.